Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Nat. That's my bro CJ there. Welcome to Retro RawDown. And we're here to talk about last week's Clash of the Castle, as well as we're going to pay a little tribute to today's date being 9/11. And we'll touch base as well on this past week's Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, and if I'm looking away at the camera, folks, I'm playing some 2K. So I'm
Yeah.
still listening. I'm just playing my video game.
All right. So, I would like to start off with the most important thing of today. Of course, today, 21 years ago, was the 9/11 attacks in New York City, as
Mm-hmm.
well as Washington State. I'd like to start off by just like not a long story, but just where I was on that
Yeah,
day.
that's kind of what I was going to go to. So
Yeah, I remember going to school that morning. I was starting my third year high school, and my class had started around 8:30. And as the morning went on, I started hearing the kids talking they kept saying, did you hear the World Trade Towers blew up? And I thought, what are you talking about? Like, how can you say something like that, right? So sure enough, that afternoon I come home and I see it right on my TV screen. The news bulletin had interrupted. My mom was watching her soap operas at the time, and Days of Our Lives, by the way. And unfortunately, the news bulletin was right there, and it was a scary sight then, and it's still a scary sight 21 years later. And I would also like to. I came up with a couple of little sentiments for like everyone involved. First of all, in memory of the almost 3,000 lives lost. I want to say that your lives may be gone, but you all are in a better place. Your souls will
yeah,
live on by God's given grace. And
yeah,
uh, and I also, yes, amen to that. And I also want to say to the surviving victims, as well as their friends and family, everyone who lost loved ones, and everyone who still feels the pain to this day. We all share your pain hour after hour, but if we all stand together, then that will give us all the power. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
I
So
do.
it
Uh,
hurts hard, and we'll all live on, hopefully, in better times, right?
I was in third grade in Mrs. Ford's class. I was in third grade, right?
Mhm.
And I remember them going over the intercom, and they said that uh, a plane had flown into one of the twin towers, and like I think it was the south tower that was hit first, and I was like, oh, now I was a third grader, so I didn't think of this terrorism thing or anything like that, or anything negative.
Yeah,
So when I
yeah,
hear that so when I heard the plane was going through the tower, in my mind, that like the tower was like a garage kind of. There was a garage in the tower, and it like landed safely or whatever. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I looked at my teacher's face, and she was scared. I'm like, why are you so scared? Like, this is a good thing, right? And then a little later, they announced that the other tower, or that the second plane hit the second tower. And I'm like, okay, this must be big news, right? Like important news. And my teacher's worried look went from worried to she had to leave the classroom because she was sobbing. And I was like, why is she upset by this news? I didn't understand, third grader, right?
yeah,
Now, obviously, I do. Now, obviously, I
yeah.
do.
Of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
But as a third grader, you don't think of this stuff. But then, like a little while later, my mom came and she picked me up from school early I don't know why I didn't know why she did that. I didn't have a doctor's appointment or anything. She came, she picked me up. We went home, and she's like, "Ashley, my sister, take your kid or take your brother and go downstairs and watch cartoons." So I'm like, "Okay." So I got out of school early for no reason. I get to go downstairs and watch cartoons for no reason. I'm like, this isn't bad, right? And then later that night, my parents together, they got me and my sister together, and they told us what was going on, and it wasn't a good thing, and they had to explain it to a an 8-year-old
Yeah,
and an 11-year-old what was
yeah.
happening, and
I can I can only imagine how difficult it may have been for them to do so, and you as a child to have to learn such news and go through something like that at such a young age.
yeah,
Yeah,
and like Nat said, our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims and their families.
that's right.
I mean, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's just it's obviously it's hard to talk about. I mean, I thank God all the time that I wasn't there and I don't know anybody who
Yeah.
was there. But there was one thought that came to me today was that the fact is there was a lot of people like around our age, like a lot of young people, a lot of the firefighters and the policemen were all these young people who had all their lives ahead of them, and they were just cut short by this
Well,
act of
terrorism,
idiocy, terrorism, and overall idiocy. Like,
and
why did
hatred.
this have to happen?
So,
And hatred.
beyond
Yeah,
that, beyond that, you think of all the little kids around our age that
that's right.
lost their
That's
parents,
right. Their
their
parents.
aunt,
Yeah,
their
they'll never
uncle,
see their mother, their father,
their brothers,
anybody
and
ever again.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's really tough to
yeah,
fathom. Uh,
yeah. And I
uh,
mean, I to even throw in wrestling in there too.
yeah.
The SmackDown after 9/11 was on. It was on Tuesdays at the time, and they did an amazing job with getting all the superstars
Well,
together.
to correct you real quick, SmackDown wasn't on Tuesdays; it was on Thursdays. They taped on Tuesdays.
I
Taped
see,
on-
I see.
They taped it
Yeah.
on Tuesday, and then they aired it on Thursday. So it was on,
Okay. Right.
but they couldn't tape anything on that Tuesday for obvious reasons. So on
Yeah.
that
It was a
Thursday,
Tuesday. Yeah.
they went to a live broadcast.
Yeah, and it was cool what they did. Doing as far as I know, they did the 10 bell salute
Yeah,
and gathered all the superstars and everyone on the entrance ramp and did a very moving tribute. Very amazing. Yeah. So
and
it lives in our hearts for as long as we live, and it's definitely a day that we'll never forget. And lest we forget, all our thoughts and prayers are with everyone involved.
it's to close this out.
Hmm.
It's very crazy to me to think that my youngest cousin Ryan, who is 17, and my
Hmm.
two nephews, who are 2 and 5,
Hmm.
live in a world where the World Trade Centers never existed to them.
Yeah,
They never
that's right.
saw them. I mean,
That's right.
they see them in the footages and the photos, I'm sure, but they don't exist anymore. And
Hmm.
that's but let's switch gears here now,
Let's
ladies and
talk happier.
yeah, let's be happy.
Happy
Nat
talk.
here, ladies and gentlemen, is going to give. I gave my reviews of Clash of the Castle earlier this
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and let Nat take the floor. So Nat,
Thank you.
please do give us your review while I play some 2K.
Thank you, CJ. Okay, so like I had told CJ that when it comes to Clash of the Castle, I will be glad to give my reviews on at least the matches I remember. So to start off with, the 6-woman tag with Now they are now called Damage Control. Bailey, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky against Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss. Um, the only thing I could clearly remember is that I basically called it right down the middle. And this goes to right to the end of the match because I remember at the beginning of the match I had said that if Bailey pins Bianca, then she should have a title shot, which normally happens anyway. Sure enough, what happens?
She won.
Bailey, yeah, Bailey pins Bianca and wins the match for her team. And I remember my eyes almost bugging. I'm like, what? I couldn't believe that how accurate I had called it, and I did. So that was crazy, and it was pretty much the same thing with the very next match, Gunther against Sheamus for the IC title, Intercontinental title. I said right from the start, and I touched base on this on previous reviews, that this was going to be a bloodbath battle. And I was right again. I was right again that within the first 5 to 10 minutes of the match, one or both superstars would shed red. And I was right. I remember seeing already like scars and cuts and uh, like on Sheamus's chest. It was beat red. It was beat red within the first 5 minutes of the match, and I called it. I said it would happen. I was hoping for Sheamus to come out on top, but good for Gunther. He retains. That's
That
all well and
that
good.
was a total babyface turn for Sheamus.
Oh, there's no question about it. Yeah. Now I just thought of it now. I'm guessing then that what's their names, Ridge Holland and Butch would fall right behind, right? They'll be baby faces too,
Yeah,
right? I
agree.
guess so. Yeah, I guess so. But for the record, whenever I see Butch in the ring, I still think of him as Pete Dunne, even though that was his name in NXT, but I never watched NXT. But still, I know the reference, so I can't help but whenever they say Butch, the back of my head says, "Oh, you mean Pete Dunne?"
Yeah,
I can't help but think that.
I think
And
it's
then,
I think
yeah,
it's
go,
done. I
yeah,
think it's done, not Dune. Pete
done,
done.
done, done, whatever. Okay.
We
So
may
yeah,
pronounce it differently. So
I'll go on. I'll go on to the Mysterios and Judgment Day match. Um, I remember my dad saying to me that he wasn't too happy about how this match ended, and in a way I agree, and in a way I disagree because they were building it for quite a while now that
yep,
Dominic would eventually turn on Ray and
right.
join the Judgment Day. So in a way, it didn't surprise me. Like it didn't surprise me as much when Dominic delivered the clothesline to Ray, more than or much less than when he gave the low blow to Edge. I mean, Edge I can understand, but Ray obviously stood out because of the father son connection.
Yeah,
But again, there was really no surprise because it was bound to happen. And in a way, this sort of reminds me of, if I could throw it in, a Hart family reference. When Owen Hart turned on Brett, like he was always in the shadow, if you will, and this in a way was sort of the same idea. You got a son turning on his father, so it sort of gave me flashbacks, but. It's sort of like time to grow up for Dominic, right?
yeah,
Too bad he's in the Judgment Day, but whatever. Again, it was bound to happen.
yep,
And then there's actually one more match that I remember, and besides Drew and Roman, this was the match of the night for me. Seth Rollins defeating Matt Riddle. For the record, I just call him Riddle or
yeah.
Little Riddle.
Yeah.
Little Riddle. I mean, I'll always have a loyalty to Seth.
Frank,
You
what's
know?
good, buddy?
Frankie, get your butt in here. I want to see you.
Here, I'll send him
Get
a link.
Frank
I don't
in
know
here.
if I can do this right now.
Yeah,
Send him
get Frank in here.
clip.
Get Frank in here.
Let's
Come
see if
on.
Frankie can join us.
Come on.
He's not even on Facebook right now, so he's not even going to see the message. But Franklin, I sent you a message, so if you want to join us, go right ahead, dude.
Get in, bro. Get in. Yeah. So I'm very happy of the turnout to that match. I mean, I put up with Riddle, but in a way, my other side says I can't stand him, and I'll always have a loyalty towards Seth. So I'm happy with that result. And on to the Roman and Drew match. This was another one that also my dad gave me his opinion on, and he also said that he did not like the ending of the match either, which also I part agree and part disagree, because it wasn't a bad idea to eventually bring up Solo Sequoia, because he had been in NXT now for quite a while, as far as I know, and what better situation to bring him in, for this match, because obviously the Usos weren't
Frank,
there.
stop
But
being a bitch.
yeah, come on, Frank, come on. We want to
Frank
see
says,
it.
I haven't seen any of the shows you're covering, so there's not much I could say. You guys,
Well,
you don't have to talk about the shows with us. Just come in and shoot the breeze, dude.
please, bro, come
Yeah,
on.
just come in and shoot the breeze with us.
That's right. I can't wait till Thursday.
Hey, she wants you in here, and I want you in here, so get in here.
That's right. That's right, bro. Besides, we were talking about New
No,
York.
don't worry about
That's
it.
your home state, bro. That's your home state, bro. We were talking about New York. Yeah, on this special
Yeah,
day.
Frank was in New York on 9/11. He was
You're kidding.
he was far enough away from the towers. He was all the way
Oh
up
my
in
God.
he was far enough away where it didn't get him.
So he was in New York City?
Yeah.
Oh
He's
my
in New York.
God. Frank, I want to hear your input. Come in here. This is special, man. Get in
I
here.
think if you want to hear his input, he's done his input on some live videos in the past. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But yeah, he was in there. He was there. He was in,
Wow. But far enough away from the
yeah,
site.
yeah.
Wow. My
I
God.
think he even said, now Frank, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you say you couldn't even see the towers? Like that's how far away you were from it. You couldn't even see it.
Oh my.
I could be wrong, but
Wow. Jeez. Scary stuff. But going back to the Roman and Drew match at Clash, and this is another one that I called right down the middle. Like both guys, it was an equal match. Both guys had the momentum and their opportunities. So in a way, that's how I agree with my dad, who said that he didn't like the way the match ended with Solo Sequoia interfering,
right.
and it was a great match. And it's almost sickening that it had to end that way. I
Yeah.
was sort of leaning towards Drew, but I will always acknowledge my tribal chief. Always. Yeah. So that's
I'm
overall.
So I
Yeah.
love when you acknowledged
Yeah.
him.
Overall, the event itself, I would give it out of a 10, maybe an 8. It was
Yeah.
pretty good. Pretty good, solid show overall. And any of the matches I forgot, I'm sorry, but I remember most of it. It's still almost a week later. Just over a week later.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you this, it was a much better show than the AEW pay-per-view that they put out on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Frank says, I was at school, which is not too far from where I live now. I live in New York, so of course I was in New York, but I wasn't in this. He wasn't in the city. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
He lives all the way in, he lives in Queens. So
yeah.
Queens.
Yeah, and it happened in Manhattan. Yeah, the towers were in Manhattan. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And I'm sure Frank will say this as well in the comments. He went to the same school at the same time that WWE superstar Zelina Vega went to.
Queen Zelina. Yeah, he had mentioned that. Yeah. And
they went to the same school at the same time.
Yeah.
But on this day,
Mhm.
She stayed home from school that day because
Mhm.
she's sick, and
Yeah,
her
he had
father
mentioned that to me, yeah.
died in the tower.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
That's
her father was
crazy.
one of the victims,
That's crazy.
right? I don't know if you knew
Wow.
that or not about her, but
Yeah, we had chatted, the other night, and, he had mentioned that to me, yeah.
okay, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright, well,
I'm glad that Frank is okay and
yeah, of course.
Jolene as well. Uh,
Yeah. Been in the ring for a while, eh?
I'm sorry?
She hasn't been in
Yeah,
the
no, I don't think so. I think she got, hurt, I think.
oh, there's an injury in there, okay.
Yeah, I
Her and
think
Carmella, we haven't seen Carmella for a while.
yeah, I'm not complaining about that. Uh,
No, me neither. I can't stand her. It's too
sorry,
much.
I'm not trying to hate. Let's get to the, Raw results here from this past week.
Yeah.
Uh, these are quick results. We'll go through them, but I'm just gonna run through them real quick. The New Day, versus Alpha Academy versus Los Lotharios versus Street Profits, in a number one contenders match for the women or for the women for the tag team titles, for the tag titles that ended in a no contest because Braun Strowman came out and ran over everybody. Um, and I gotta say, there was a moment in this match I absolutely loved, and I don't even know if you caught this moment or not, Natasha,
Let's see
but it
if I
was
remember it.
hilarious. It was in the beginning of the match. Vibe reactions, my brother. What is good? What's good, bro? My man. Shout out to Vibe Reactions.
That's
He's
all
dope.
right.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
another YouTube channel that I got the pleasure of interviewing, and he's here in the comment section. My brother,
Yeah.
Vibe Reactions. What's good, bro? How you
Mhm.
doing, man? How you
There you
doing,
go.
bro?
There you go.
But there was a moment in this tag match where I believe it was one of the Los Etherios guys starting off with one of the New Day guys, Xavier Woods, and I want to say
Okay.
Angel Garza. And Angel Garza wound up tagging in Kofi. So now it was
Oh
Kofi
yeah.
and Xavier starting off.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
and they were looking at each other. I do remember that. Yes.
they look at each
I
other
do.
and they're like, yeah, all right. Oh no,
Mhm.
why? Oh man.
It was
Oh,
pretty funny. I remember that.
my reaction's got the COVID. Damn, bro. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. COVID? Damn.
Uh-oh.
I
Oh
hope you
no.
feel better soon, brother.
Yeah, feels
Uh,
better. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Kick COVID's ass. Hmm.
What?
Kick COVID's ass.
Yeah, kick COVID's ass, man. You got
Yeah,
this.
that's right. Yeah, you
Hey,
got this.
you got
Yeah,
this. COVID ain't got COVID.
that's
COVID
right.
ain't got shit on you, bro. You got this, man.
That's right.
But shout out to Ray. He's a really good dude.
Yeah.
He's a dope YouTube channel. Um, I love his videos. He's fire, as he would say. He's
Yeah.
fire. So
Awesome.
I got you, fam. I got you.
Awesome.
But yeah, they looked at each other. They shook hands,
Yeah, it's
and
pretty funny.
then like one of them just laid down so the other guy could pin him. I thought that was
Mhm.
hilarious. I was like,
Yeah,
that's a nice touch. That
I
was
remember that. Yeah.
yeah. And then continuing, Aaliyah and Raquel Rodriguez defeated Nikki Ash and Dewdrop in a tag match.
Mhm.
It was a nothing match, really. Kevin
Yeah,
Owens beat Austin Theory. It was a good match. This match was good. I liked it.
yeah, yeah,
Damian Priest defeated Rey Mysterio. Another great match.
yeah,
And then in the main event, Lashley defeated The Miz in a steel cage to retain the U.S. Championship.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
that was Raw this week. I loved at the end of the cage match when Dexter came out from underneath the ring.
Yeah, that was
And,
scary.
yeah, that was hilarious. I don't care
That
what
was
anyone says.
scary. Yeah.
That was hilarious.
But
Uh,
there's no question that definitely this past week's Raw got these hands. I mean, when I was watching the Fatal Four Way tag match, I was like, okay, this is a great match overall. All teams had their chances and whatever, and what's interesting is when Strowman did show up, it was while Gable was in there, and I mean this will lead into SmackDown too when both members of Alpha Academy were like beating up on Strowman. So I actually had another thought tonight, and that whenever Strowman has his his first match, like actual match since his return, I
Yeah.
think it should be against Otis. No question.
Oh,
No question about it. Yeah,
that would be great.
that'd be sick.
That would be.
That'd be a sick match.
I think he picked up Otis.
Yeah, that's right.
Power bombed
Yeah,
him, right? Yeah.
that's right. That's
SmackDown.
right.
Look at
Yeah,
SmackDown.
that's we'll get to
Let's
SmackDown.
get
Yeah.
SmackDown.
Hmm.
Any closing thoughts on Raw?
Yeah. With the what was it? What was it? Ray against who did Ray face? Damien.
Yeah, Damian Priest.
Okay, yeah. So that was the first time we saw Dominic coming around with the Judgment Day, and like I mentioned before, it was interesting to see his more like grown up look now. Like he's getting out of Ray's shadow, and in a way, I like that. But of course, the other side of me is like, why? Why? Like everyone else is like, why, Dominic? Why?
Yeah. Why did
But
you do this?
but but
No, please don't do this. Sorry.
and you know what? Maybe even somewhere down the road, it should be interesting that maybe like Finn and Dominic could become tag team champions somewhere down the road, or
Oh, there
even Finn
you
and
go.
Damien. So
Finn
you
and
know,
I think Finn and I don't think Dominic needs a championship right now. I think Finn and
yeah, not yet, I guess. Yeah.
well, Dominic doesn't need a belt. Rhea needs to challenge for that Raw Women's Championship and take it.
Yes, it's been too long. Yeah, she
She
should be
was supposed to
first.
try, and then she got injured, so she didn't get her match.
Yeah.
So they improvised. They gave it to Carmella, but they need to
Hmm.
give it to Rhea. They need to let Rhea take that belt.
That's right. If there's going to be a point where all members of Judgment Day are champions, then Rhea should be first.
Yeah,
Then the out of the three of them, two out of three could tag up and eventually become champs. I mean, it really doesn't matter whether it's Finn and Damien or Damien and Dominic, but probably you're right about Dominic. Like not so quick. I mean, he's already been granted. Yeah, too. He's already been champion with Ray, so
right.
there'll be a gap in there. Yeah, if it happens eventually, the uh, Dominic will have to wait a bit, but who knows? There could be tag team gold within the Judgment Day. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving to SmackDown here.
Actually, I just remembered another thing about Raw. I remember one point where the Miz was coming towards the ring, and I had thought of you because you were mentioning this in a previous review about like background stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Miz and then Champa to the left, and then I'm looking at the back, and it's like, oh, is that Dexter in the back there? I'm like, oh no, right? So
Yeah.
sure enough, again, he
It was
shows up, and
Dexter.
it
It
was
was
crazy.
Dexter.
That was creepy. But I
Yeah.
thought of you because you brought out that point about like background stuff, and I was like, oh god, in the shadows there. Is it crazy? But
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Um,
That
but
was cool.
yeah, but in
Um,
terms of the steel cage match itself, there's no question that again both guys had their chances, but steel cage matches have always seemed to go to the more high flying and technical guys. So in that way, the Miz had more of the edge, but of course, in the power department and to be able to deal with the steel and the bars of the steel cage, so that went towards Lashley. So
yeah.
it's really no surprise that he ended up retaining. Yeah,
Uh, moving to SmackDown here.
yeah,
The results here. Imperium, Gunther Ludwig Kaiser or Ludwig
Kaiser.
Kaiser
Yeah.
and Giovanni Vinci
Hmm.
defeated the Rolling Brutes, Sheamus, Rich Holland, and Butch.
Hmm.
Raquel and Aaliyah defeated Toxic Attraction.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey defeated Natalia, Xia Li, Sonya Deville, and Lacey Evans. So
Mm-hmm.
she is now the number one contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yeah.
Uh, Street Profits defeated. Street Profits and Hit Row defeated Los Lotharios and Maximum Male Models.
Yeah.
Uh, and Drew McIntyre defeated Solo Sikoa
Yeah.
by disqualification.
Okay. Now, what was the first match again? I'll give my thoughts. I'm better with match by match. Forgive me.
Imperium versus the Brawling Brutes.
Okay. What do you know about this guy? This new guy with Gunther and Ludwig. I had never seen him before. This
Giovanni
was my
Vinci.
first.
I
Yeah.
do know he and Ludwig were a team on NXT UK. They were like NXT UK tag team.
Interesting.
Yeah, his name on NXT UK, I don't know if you know this, was Fabian Eichner.
No, I never knew. I don't
Okay.
watch.
That's who that guy is. He's Fabian Eichner,
Interesting.
and he got revamped for NXT 2.0 as this kind of rich guy, like this rich dude, and his name is now Giovanni Vinci, and he's good. He's solid.
There's actually something I remember commentary wise. They were talking about Giovanni, that he's like the first Italian born superstar besides Bruno Sammartino, but they're wrong. I remember making a comment on that. I said, "Hey, what about Santino? What about Santino?"
We don't talk about Santino. Ever since he got we don't talk about Santino.
I wasn't ready. Anyway, all right. So what was the next match again?
The next match after that was Raquel and Aaliyah defeating Toxic Attraction.
And that was their first title defense.
Was it?
I think so.
I don't think it was a title match. It doesn't say there was a title match here. So.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
And then we had Ronda Rousey defeating Natalia, Xia Li, Sonya, and Lacey. So she's now the number one contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
And that didn't surprise me either, because all throughout, even when that match was announced and all through it, I was thinking, okay, Ronda's going to win this because it'll be all the turmoil and all the build-up from Liv's Money in the Bank cash-in to revenge on the SummerSlam match. So that was no surprise that Ronda won, although I was leaning towards Natalia because I always have loyalty towards Natty.
Gentlemen, I think we have a special guest.
Oh?
He was coming through, but...
Eh?
Hold up.
Ooh.
Give it a minute. But I think we may have a special guest coming through.
Yes!
We may. Wait a minute now. I just saw his thing pop up here and then it just disappeared, so...
Oh, God.
Plot twist, it's Vibe Reactions. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn.
No, hey, I want to shout out Vibe Reactions real quick, if I may. Vibe Reactions is a really, really dope YouTube channel. He's absolutely hilarious, and he is very knowledgeable of like rap music. So if you like knowing bars and stuff like that, and if you like funny, he's also very entertaining and hilarious. Federico, got the beat. That's him, right? And if you like humor and if you like bar breakdown channels, Vibe Reactions, Bakery Music, those two channels are goated, in my opinion. I love those two channels. Actually, I just spoke to Shrug the other day. Shrug is also from Bakery Music. Got to speak to him. He's dope. And I've done an interview with Vibe Reactions. They were great interviews, and I loved spending time and talking to them. And everybody should go and follow those two channels, Vibe Reactions and Bakery Music. And Bakery Music also makes his own music, and he's a dope artist. So please show some love to those two channels. I promise you won't be disappointed.
All right, sounds good. So what was the next match again after the women's tag?
The women's tag, then you had that number one contenders match with Ronda.
Oh, right. Yeah, I already said.
Profits and Hit Row versus Los Lotharios and Maximum Male Models.
I paid a little more attention to these guys than I did before, because even when Hit Row first came onto the scene, I didn't care for them at all because I had never seen them before. And even with the male models, I mean, obviously I knew who Mansoor was. It's Mansoor, the
Yeah.
guy who won the battle royal. What was it? A little over a year ago or something, over in Saudi Arabia. So I knew who they were, but because I was paying more attention, I actually realized who Massey was. It's Mace. It's Mace, formerly of Retribution, along with his former tag team partner T-Bar. They were both members of Retribution because I kept looking closer and closer, and then I thought, okay, Massey, right? And I thought, oh, hello. The light came on. It's Mace, and being the character model or whatever, and my female instincts are coming in. He's actually not a bad-looking fella.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, I was paying a little more attention, and they're not bad in terms of athleticism, but in terms of actual wrestling moves, I mean, you got to give them a little more of a chance. But in terms of again, athleticism is not bad, and then of course, always the Profits are always fun to watch, especially. I mean, honestly, now that I think of it, when I watch a Street Profits match, I look forward more to seeing Montez Ford in the ring a little more than Dawkins because Ford, I find, is
Ford is the great
very
worker of the team. He's the worker of the team.
who Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question. He's the workhorse, and if you ask me, he holds the team together. And I love the finishing move from the heavens. Like it's just crazy.
That
I'm
cross
amazed.
those
Yeah,
that height, it's crazy.
yeah, it is crazy. Every time I'm
I
amazed every
wanna
time I see it.
I wanna see that from the heavens move off the top of a steel cage, and then I
Yes.
don't wanna see it because it could potentially hurt him. And I'm like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. No
"It's,
question.
it'd be cool to see, but don't hurt yourself."
Yeah. And now that I remember it too, I forgot. I still forgot whether it was during a match or during that promo where the Usos and Sammy came in along with Sequoia to officially get him in the bloodline. And oh yeah, Drew came down and was about to whack a chair on Sequoia, but Sammy pushed him out of the way and took the bullet, if you will. But that was during the promo. That wasn't during Drew and it was Drew and Sammy for the main event, right?
It was Drew and
Oh,
Solo.
Sequoia. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that whole thing was during the promo, but the match itself, I was very impressed with Sequoia. This was my first time watching him in a match because again, I never catch NXT, but I'm glad they brought him up because I had mentioned this once before when it came to Braun Breaker because I like watching the next generation. I like watching the guys and girls who come from the wrestling families, right? So I'm glad when they brought up Braun Breaker for a while, and now that I think of it, I'm glad that they brought on Solo. So very amazing wrestler, just like his entire family, whether it's his father, his uncles, his cousins, doesn't matter. They're all amazing wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So ladies and gentlemen, that was SmackDown from this
there you
past
go.
week.
Yeah.
Uh, ladies, Nat, any closing thoughts on SmackDown?
Solid show overall.
Both shows were great
Obviously
this week. Shows have been great since Triple H came back.
Triple H came back. What do you
So
mean?
since Triple H started running things.
Oh, yeah. I don't really see that much comparison, except when it comes to bringing back guys and girls. Because I remember talking to my parents about this, and when we all saw Strowman come back, that's one thing that's different now when it comes to Triple H running the whole thing. He's bringing back more guys and girls than I think Vince would.
Yeah.
There's no question. So that in a way makes it so much better and more unpredictable.
And then one other thing, Nat, and then we'll close out the podcast.
Sure.
Do you have any thoughts and or opinions on things going on in AEW right now with CM Punk and all that stuff?
From what I've seen, I mean, it's interesting seeing like the only two guys I know. Obviously I know them from their time in WWE, but like John Moxley or Dean
No, no,
Ambrose,
no,
as
no,
I
no,
knew.
no. I'm talking about the stuff that happened backstage, like the backstage brawl between
Oh,
CM Punk and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. There was a. Do you not know about what
oh
here?
no,
Oh,
I
here.
I don't have a clue about that. The only things I've really paid more attention to is also it's also because of all the wrestling stuff I follow on Twitter. It's because I get like recommended posts or tweets, right? So I see AEW stuff, but I never watch it. So
Okay,
the
so
latest stuff I remember from there was there. If I'm not mistaken, there was a feud between Moxley or Ambrose. I still call him. I
actually,
gotta call him Dean Ambrose. I can't help it.
they did have a title match, yeah, but
Yeah.
then so after the pay per view, after all the matches were done, after the show, they had
Hmm.
a post show media scrum,
No.
which is where they
Wow.
get out in front of the media and they're out of character here.
Hmm.
They are themselves here in
Hmm.
these interviews.
Hmm.
And CM Punk came out and he was still bleeding from his match with Moxley. You could
Hmm.
still see the blood on his head. He was still bleeding. And he had
Hmm.
a towel around his neck. And he came out and you could tell he was still beat up because
Hmm.
he came from the ring to the media.
Yeah.
And he didn't go to the showers first. He didn't clean himself up. He just went from here's the ring and then here's the media. And he went, "Broop." And
Hmm.
CM Punk, he basically laid out all of his issues on the table with what's going on in the company. He
Ah,
talked about how he doesn't talk to
typical punk. Typical punk.
he went on a rant. He went on a rant and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
Colt Cabana, and then he excuse me. And then he proceeded to trash the EVPs,
Mm-hmm.
executive vice presidents, who
Mm-hmm.
are in fact the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And
Mm-hmm.
then during another part of the scrum,
Mm-hmm.
you could see like a secure during Keith Lee and Isaiah Swerve Scott's
Wow.
during their time on the interview, they were getting interviewed. You could see a security guard rushing out of the room and heading towards the locker room.
Wow.
Guess what
Wow.
happened? Check this out, Nat. So here's what happened was Punk, or was that the EVPs that Punk bashed Kenny and the Bucks? They they stormed into CM Punk's locker room,
Ooh.
confront him, and CM Punk like punched one of the Young Bucks,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then they got into a fight there, and then Kenny Omega was trying to get CM Punk's dog Larry out of the locker room, out of harm's way, and
Mm-hmm.
while he's doing that, CM Punk's buddy Ace Steel comes from behind and bites him.
Ooh.
Now,
Wow.
I have to remind you, this is not scripted. This is not part of the show. This is
Uh-huh.
real life going on right here.
Oh God.
This is real life. This
Wow.
is all happening.
Wow.
And
Crazy.
because it's real life, Tony Khan has to issue out punishments, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what does Tony Khan do? CM Punk stripped of the world title. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, you're stripped of the Trios Championship.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are all suspended. That's what he
Uh-huh. Yeah.
he suspended
Crazy.
everybody involved. Plus, I think a few others that were kind of bystanders in the whole thing. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, it's a crazy thing. And I'm like, you guys are grown men making millions of dollars, and you're acting like children. Are you kidding?
Yeah. Exactly.
You're
Now,
fighting each
since
other. You're fighting each other.
well, that was typical Punk too. He was
Yeah.
acting like a total ass, but that's what made everyone love him. I mean, his
Well,
attitude like that.
people ain't loving
You
him
know,
so much anymore. People are starting to
I
turn a
miss him.
bit,
I
but
want him back, no question. Now since you threw in an extra subject, would it be all right if I did? Like just a little bit
go ahead.
because it's about the A&E bios, and
Oh,
I
go
want
ahead.
to tell you again that I loved how you and Frank touched based on those to start off latest review, and I didn't think I would watch it at first, but I did catch the latest bio on the very first WrestleMania, and I enjoyed
Yes, it's not
everyone.
close. I'm just kidding.
I enjoyed everyone's input. It was amazing to hear all the superstars who were involved in the very first WrestleMania, and
Yeah.
it's you go in and out when it comes to thoughts on Madison Square Garden, because if you're diehard sports fans, or especially wrestling fans, then you go see something, whether it's sports or not, you go see something at Madison Square Garden, you might as well be walking into sacred ground,
Yeah.
because let's face it, there was world well known world title fights there, and of course a whole bunch of WrestleManias, and
It's known
every
as the world's most famous arena for a
it
reason.
it really is, yeah, and it's definitely on my bucket list to see
Yeah.
something there. I don't care what it
I
is,
love
but
Russell.
if I ever walk into that arena, I'll be frozen in shock. But there's no question that the impact of WrestleMania from those days and going on will we will always thank Vince for that, for his input and for his instinct. That's the word I was looking for. His instinct, because that was his idea, and to put the idea of main event superstars and celebrities, and it didn't matter who was there. WrestleMania always was and always will be the the thing for wrestling fans and even sports fans alike.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
And ladies and gentlemen, with that being
Mhm.
said, that was this week's episode of the Retro RawDown. I want to
Yeah.
thank Matt for joining me here tonight. I want to
Yep.
thank Vibe Reactions for coming through. Shout out to Vibe Reactions. Go follow his channel. Shout out to Frank. And I also
Yeah.
want to plug our podcast that the three of us got going this week, covering SummerSlam 1992 on the 15th, September the 15th. So
That's
this
right.
week
This
later,
Thursday.
Thursday. There you go.
Thursday.
And hey,
30 years in the making.
facts. And if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Like,
Subscribe.
yes,
Subscribe.
like this video. And if you're already subscribed, thank Nat, please say
Subscribe.
no, no.
Subscribe.
If
Oh,
they're
I'm sorry.
already subscribed, if they're
Oh,
already
I'm sorry.
subscribed, what do you say if they're already
Like,
subscribed?
like this video
And
right
if you like
now.
this
Do
video,
it.
come on, I'm trying to get you to do your impersonation.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
There you go. There you
You
go.
if you guys subscribe and you like this video, we'll all say together, thank you.
And
That's
if you're
right.
a hater of this channel, one word, shush.
Shush! If you
Facts.
don't like
Yeah.
us, if you don't like us and you don't subscribe, then we got two words for you.
Not gonna
Yeah,
say it. Not gonna say it. But
yeah,
we'll, we'll
you know what we're
put
thinking.
it in.
But
Put it in.
again,
But
if you have too much to say and we don't like it, shush,
there
shush,
you go.
please.
So like I said, like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified when we upload new content. I upload new content weekly. We'll see you back here on Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I'm CJ.
I'm
She's Nat.
Nat.
We out.
We're out.
Deuce.
Over and out.